I see what you're saying, and that's why I think like it's impossible to like we're not going to be able to get this just by going to church sermons, right? That's men being prepared and being ready, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, to become a husband, and also on the women's side. If you're just going to go to church and listen to a sermon, and even go on YouTube and find sermons about that, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not growing those areas. You're just getting bits and pieces, right? You're getting nuggets. And although those nuggets could, just be seeds and flourish at some point, if you're not getting taught, and I mean specifically taught, discipled, going through the process, right? Um, then I think you're never, I don't say never, but you're not going to be prepared as quickly as somebody that is going through that process, right? So I guess that's what I mean when I say I don't necessarily see a lot of young men getting that type of training, right? Because yes, do we get the messages? Yes, I agree. I think you can go on YouTube and find thousands of them. However,
Mhm.
I don't know if I see a lot of young men being discipled in those areas by men that have been married to say, okay, before we get married, let's go through this process. I'm gonna teach you how to do this. I'm gonna teach you how to do this. I'm gonna teach you how to do this. I'm gonna teach you how to move in here. And right, because let's keep it fair. I don't see it necessarily a lot of women getting that either, right? To say you're gonna have a group of women that have been married, right? That's gonna sit down and disciple you and teach you how to receive, how to give, how to move, how to submit, how to X, Y, and Z. So I think on both sides, right, we're not doing that type of work at an early age. So it essentially prolongs the waiting season of not having sex. So now we in our 30s and neither of us is married. And then in the meantime, we've been juggling sin and smashing this and doing that and doing that. So then we do get married. Now we're like, okay, now we got to learn all these lessons. And now it
Hmm.
makes it really difficult. If some people even make that like last.
Right.
So it's just we got to start from the ground up, right? We got to start from the ground up. If you're married and you're working on having a successful marriage, you got to find young men that you can kind of disciple and teach and build up and give them the keys. So when they do get 22, 23, they can be more prepared to make that decision to say, I don't want to say a worldly, but from a financial, from a physical, from a emotional standpoint, but also a spiritual standpoint. They're prepared at 22, 23, 25, a whole lot early. Because I ain't gonna lie, fellas, if I would have had this coming out of college, I promise y'all, I would have found somebody. And I'd been like, nah, we got to get this thing done, right? Like I don't think to a certain extent there's no benefit in waiting longer and longer and longer to not have sex or to not be in that position. Especially now, I will say this: the man that was at 22 when y'all knew when we was in college, he was nowhere near ready. The man I am today and ready to be married, by no means, right? And that was coming from a guy that did love the Lord, did submit, was waiting, all these different things. I still wasn't trained in that area. So I think, for men that have been trained in that area and are doing it at that level, y'all got it, and me too, when I get there, start pouring into those young men. And it's the same thing with women. If you're a woman
Hmm.
that's seen this and you're experiencing a good, healthy marriage, start pouring into young women to teach single young women, right? Obviously,
Right.
have your couples count, but single young women to teach them this is what we're looking at. These are the lessons. These are the keys. This is the knowledge and the wisdom that you can get now. You ain't got to wait till you 40 to get all these keys and learn it by experience. No, use my experience and learn it.
100%.
Mm. 100%.
I think. I
Yeah,
think
y'all got
that.
to clip that. I'll need to post that.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, we're definitely going to clip that one. I think community is so important, man. We're
Yeah.
talking about marriage. You've got to have mentors. You've got to have people that can speak into it. This idea of we're just going to figure it out as we go, just on our own, and we're gonna love is just gonna lead the way, and love meaning like an emotion and a feeling.
Right.
That's not going to work. You've got to have people around you. You've got to have a plan. Now to a degree, everything's not going to be perfect. You do have to work through some things. You got to
Right.
figure some stuff out when
This
you're
is
in
a
there,
new
right?
experience.
Exactly. But
Mhm.
you do have to use wisdom, and one of the best ways you can use wisdom is learning from what other people did right and what they did wrong, instead of you thinking, oh, well, I've got to make all these mistakes in my early 20s and then say, well, it made me who I am today. No, you can avoid that, and you can say, I'm going to learn from other people's mistakes and other people's accomplishments and go on from there.